Hey, you listen to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM 89.0, episode 146. This is Grady Hooker, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey!
So, we're going to start it off with this. Some big news sort of breaking at the moment, and then by the time this airs, it's probably developed further than where it is now. But the stage it is at now that it looks like is that there are some top New Japan wrestlers on their way to WWE.
Of course, it's not confirmed.
No, it's all hearsay, and like half of the rumor is that WWE wants New Japan talent. Half of the rumor is that some of the New Japan talent have handed in their notice. And then there's the ending to Wrestle Kingdom 10. So it's just sort of bits and pieces that are sort of, we can't see the puzzle yet, but we've got these pieces.
It's clear something's going on. We just can't figure out what yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the very least, this will definitely be a major blow to TNA, who are trying to get AJ Styles and Luke Gallows for their pop premiere.
It seemed as though there was sort of TNA was trying to get them for that. WWE wants them for some means, and of course New Japan probably wants to hold on to them. And yeah, it's pretty much three members of the Bullet Club. I don't know about Shinsuke. I'm not very deep in the New Japan side of things. I think he might be. But
I don't know. All I know is you have Finn Balor in NXT. He has Balor Club t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have potentially AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and Shinsuke Nakamura coming. Why not run an invasion angle?
Yeah, I definitely think that's what everyone is hoping for once the news broke, I think. A large number of them have, brought this up. There's also been, because now that rumors are flying, everybody's throwing in their piece left, right, and center. I think we've had AJ Styles coming in at the Rumble. We've had rumors that for Shinsuke they paid 7 figures. It's rumor city at the moment, so it's very hard to sort of filter out what is coming from legitimate sources and what are just sort of random spoutings.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised on the Nakamura payment, because what I've been told is, because when I said money talks, as why would somebody from a top star from Puroresu would even dare come to WWE, and I'm like, money talks, and he goes, well, he makes like $500,000, and I'm like, so? And if he is being paid 7 figures, yeah, then money talks.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the landscape right now. It's you go where you can be paid the most. It used to be pretty much, everyone wants to go to WWE because that's the place. You've made it once you've reached WWE. But there's almost a new generation of wrestlers coming up now that don't have that ambition per se, or they still want to make it big, but you don't need WWE to make it. And you can still become that independent scene darling that everybody loves without that. But if you're getting offered the money, you go where the money is. And with these guys heading over, if they are, it'll be interesting to see the landscape of the WWE in 2-3 months. Especially since we may have them up there. They may go to NXT. From what I've heard, though, Nakamura and Styles probably would not. And if they're not, I'm going to presume the other two would not. But I can definitely see... It's confusing because Finn used to be the leader, and then we got a new leader, and then AJ led, but AJ just got booted out. Sorry, Wrestle Kingdom 10 spoilers. But I know it's completely different, but you are almost treading that copyright line if they're going full Baylor Club angle.
They own the rights to the New World Order, and pretty much everything the Bullet Club did was the New World Order.
True. I guess they've changed the shirt styling, I think, enough that you could not claim, a B word plus club plus certain emblems on the shirt equal Bullet Club. They probably know. WWE has a big team of lawyers. I imagine they've looked at this.
Yeah, it would. Not only that, I'm sure if they wanted to, I'm sure that's not a can of worms NJPW wants to open, because I'm sure if WWE wanted to, they could retroactively sue them for the Bullet Club, using the Bullet Club in the first place.
True.
Because a lot of the gestures and things are things from the NWO.
I think it's one of those things that we're going to sit down and wait. It's one of the annoying things with recording this show 2 days before it airs, is that by the time we air, half of what we've said is probably wrong at that point. It's developing pretty fast from a small rumor, then rolling into New Japan's next show, and then just rolling, and every one of these sort of inside sources or people who are well respected in the wrestling news community are sort of hitting it now, but there's always slight differences or slight additions to the story. But personally, I'd be very happy with it. I know of most of them and their work down in New Japan, so it'll be... I just don't want it to end up in a situation where they're not being used really well, but if you've paid 7 figures for someone, are you going to use them well?
I don't know. I think Dolph gets paid pretty well.
True. And there seems to be sort of a lot of faction love right now. But that's something we'll talk about later when we get to Raw. So I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to form a group. So we'll go into our classic entrance theme. When we come back, we'll talk about a little about Raw. But our classic entrance theme is Owen Hart's High Energy, because Josh has done nothing but watch Owen Hart's new DVD. And you're back with Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM 89.0, Grady and Josh. So I was just saying they were a little faction crazy right now in WWE. They just formed the Social Outcasts.
That was a fun promo last night.
It came out of nowhere, really.
Yeah. When they came out together, I'm like, well, there's the Job Squad 2.0. And then Heath Slater won. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it was just a great surprise to see the 4 of them, and then they won, and it's like, wow, are you actually doing something with these 4?
And then that promo. and Curtis Axel absolutely killed it.
Mm.
But yeah, you had them even looking at each other like, what the hell are you saying?
Yeah, they also had a promo on Raw Fallout with Rich Brennan as well, and they nailed it again. If this keeps rolling, which I really hope it does, I see good things. But right now, what do we got? We got like 4-man Wyatt team, the Social Outcasts, the League of Nations. It's temporary, but you do have the Reigns, Ambrose, and Usos. We had Team ECW.
They really interacted since Reigns won the WWE Championship.
They celebrated and then sort of left. Well, they still get punished for Reigns. Just something.
Yeah, but Reigns hasn't helped them, and they haven't helped him since. since he won the championship.
Falling outs. Team ECW sort of dissolved. But there's a bunch of groups right now. And to my surprise, well, not really, everyone had to expect it coming sooner or later, the Wyatts are in the Rumble. All four.
Yeah.
I don't know who they're booking in matches that is not the Royal Rumble match. Because Jericho returns as well.
I'm pretty sure Ambrose and Owens are going to go at it.
Yep. Maybe with Neville.
Most likely in probably some stipulation match like a street fight.
True.
I would guess that the New Day will defend the tag team titles. Against who? I have no clue. Especially since the injury to Sin Cara.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll dust off Damien Sandow and have him team with Kalisto.
Oh, God. Now I can just see Damien Sandow in Sin Cara's mask doing flips. Or maybe they'll take on Doc Gallows and Cal Anderson. Now I'm just throwing things out.
That was another thing. Gallows was not going to join TNA unless they brought Anderson along with them.
Yeah. But with the Rumble...
He was title match.
Well, yeah, but they weren't going to be in the Rumble. It seems as though it's lining up with Becky, Charlotte.
The
US title...
Probably will see the US title defended. Maybe Cena versus Del Rio again.
It's one of those things that, at the moment, there's a large... Like, I think they've announced... They've sort of retconned what they've announced, but there is quite a large number of people announced, and it's quite a large number of talent not in the Rumble. And then combining that with not having solid matches around the rest of the card at the moment, I don't really know what's going on. But I think a lot of that is shaken up by the Rumble becoming the World Heavyweight title match.
And being the champion, I'm betting Roman Reigns will have to enter number 1.
Yep.
To be able to defend his championship. And number 30 or 40, if they go 40-man, will end up being Triple H.
Mm-hmm. There's no surprise. Like, there's almost no reaction to that. I think that's the way everyone's expecting them to go. It's basically the Rumble at this point is going to be a just tire out Reigns until Triple H comes out. There's nothing...
Although, wouldn't it be neat if they swerved us and they didn't have Triple H in the match? Reigns somehow won the match from being number 1. Maybe even broke his own record in the process. And then after the match is over, that's when Triple H comes out, pedigrees him, and tells him at WrestleMania he's facing him for the championship.
Yeah, I could see that as well. I think the one reason that I think they'd go 40-man is that Reigns would break all sorts of like time records and all of that. And then they could say that he outlasted the most men because he would have outlasted 39 if he made it to the final. Or 38. It's just numbers. Likely they'll just keep it at 30, I think, and try to build a card around it. A little bit. That's my main point, is that a little bit of the surprise, even though there wouldn't be too much surprise, is almost gone from the Rumble. You still got the surprise entrance and all of the fun spots and feuds that are going to come out of it, but there was always that little hope that, like, hey, maybe Kevin Owens would win the Rumble, and maybe we'd have that match at WrestleMania. Hey, maybe this guy would win. And now you've limited your pool quite a bit by making it a title match, because you're not going to give it, they were never going to, but they're not going to give it to a Kevin Owens type. And now it'll most likely Reigns, Triple H, Lesnar, probably the only 3 that could win. I say that hesitantly.
Cena.
No, yeah, Cena, sorry. I always forget that he's back.
Cena's a possibility.
Maybe that's where we see our Cena Reigns stare down. That we saw at the Dark segment. So I mentioned Kevin Owens a lot. That's because I was trying to segue into his entrance theme for our current entrance theme. It's Kevin Owens' fight. And you're back. Wrestling Roundup. FreeFM 89.0. Grady and Josh. So just came through again. Still unconfirmed about this New Japan stuff. But they want even more New Japan talent than those 4 that we were listing. We have an extra 3 names. We have Rocky Romero, Bad Luck Fale, and Tama Tonga. If this all comes through, is it time to say goodbye to New Japan?
No, because they've been around forever.
True.
Even when WWE original expansion occurred and stuff.
Do you think they'll lose their number 2 spot?
Is there really a number 2?
True. Well, there's a number 1, and then a number 9, 10, and 11.
And then there's everybody else.
Yeah.
I think they'll be fine. They're constantly recycling talent anyway.
Well, you got TNA on Pop TV, and you got Ring of Honor, which hot on their heels.
And New Japan works with Ring of Honor in the first place, so.
And the promotion that everybody discounts, Lucha Underground. They have Rey Mysterio.
I've never seen the promotion, so I don't care.
It definitely seems as though there's the big shark, WWE, and then all of the little fishes are fighting out to be the biggest little fish.
In the small little pond that's left over from the shark.
Yeah. And the shark just, like, scooped up half of their pond in his mouth and took it back to his.
Yeah.
What's with fish analogies? But yeah. That's pretty much all we can say until everything's confirmed and we know everything. So, of course, we'll jump back to Raw. Roman Reigns is still being a smarky person even though he lost. Well, he lost the war, or that fight at the moment, because now he's being forced to defend his title.
Yeah.
He's being a very defiant person.
Yeah, just like another star that Vince had to deal with in the 90s.
Is it The Rock?
No, it was Rock's
Mankind?
biggest adversary.
Mankind.
Well, funny is he had a title. He had to defend his title 17 years to the day that Mankind won the title for the first time.
Oh,
but
Paul White? Yeah, you're talking about Stone Cold.
Yes. This whole Reigns storyline is mirrored Austin's ascension to the top, almost word for word.
I think if you took Austin's rise, and then you took Daniel Bryan run up to WrestleMania 30, and then you mashed them together, you have what Reigns has right now. You're sort of using the themes and the build from the Austin, but then using some of the bigger overarching spots from the Bryan, and then sort of shoving them together and hoping for the best. And I guess it comes down to we'll see how it goes. Will McMahon enter the Rumble?
Vince, no, I don't think Vince will. He's 70 years old.
True. Will he fine himself for pulling the fingers to the crowd on live TV?
Not a chance of that happening.
Will he bounce his pecs again?
Probably.
Yeah. Vince as a referee was exactly how you thought Vince as a referee was going to go. And something I can't skip is Kalisto doing the teaming with the Dudleys and then doing the was up. The Dudleys are essentially at this point minimal things, right? They came back, they were big, and now they've sort of shrunk back down. They're just another tag team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Kalisto has basically become Spike Dudley.
Yeah. What got me though is they still like fully pushed that he was one member of the Lucha Dragons, which makes me think that he's not going singles. Just because they're the amount that they made sure to remind you he is half of the Slammy Award winning. Oh, sorry, he is a Slammy Award winner and half of the Lucha Dragons. He came up to the Lucha Dragons Titan. It was just very Lucha Dragon-y for someone whose tag team partner's injured.
Yeah. So
I figured it out. Next week on Raw, Brock Lesnar absolutely destroys Kalisto. And he ends up on the injured list with Sin Cara and problem solved. But yeah, we have Brock Lesnar to deal with next week.
Yeah. Who knows what that will bring? But I'm guessing we may see the first interaction between Bray Wyatt and his family and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. Lesnar Strowman looks like a big dude. It'll work. The Big Show Strowman looked pretty good. Not as like a fight, but as a looking at each other intensely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much. I've probably missed like a bunch of stuff from this week. But yeah, Titus O'Neil Stardust also had a match. That happened, and yeah, that's it for this week. It's been great talking to you.
Hey, babe.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Roundup Radio, or our Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling R Radio. I'll see you next week.